Big Ten has announced the 42 participants that will take part in Big Ten Media Days in a couple of weeks. That will be July 26th and July 27th at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Nebraska is day 2, and the Huskers will have Ethan Piper, Luke Reimer, Jeff Sims as their 3 players there. Sip we'll get to hear from a lot of other top players on that second day. Blake Corum from Michigan will be at that day. Chris Otman-Bell, by the way, another guy, a 7th-year player back for Minnesota.
7th year? Is he 7th year? That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, they call him the law firm, his last name, Otman-Bell. Well, the law firm is going to probably leave Minnesota with a law degree. Hey, Purdue taking a transfer as well, Hudson Card.
Okay, quarterback.
So
like Nebraska taking a transfer quarterback. The quarterback position.
Wisconsin's taking a transfer too, Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah, see, here's the thing with the quarterback. It's such a I'm not breaking any ground here, but it's such a gigantic position. And if you have a player, a transfer who's established himself as a clear-cut starter, it makes a lot of sense. Tanner Lee did it. Remember Tanner Lee? He was the representative for Nebraska at media days. So
there's some coaches that don't like doing that though. Like
in this day and age, though, it makes.
I don't think like last year, Frost, they didn't consider Trey Palmer or Casey Thompson or O'Shawn Mathis to go. Now O'Shawn got there late. He wasn't a part of the spring, but you kind of knew that Casey Thompson was going to be your quarterback. But they chose to bring Vokalek, Quentin Newsome,
Garrett
Nelson.
Yeah,
a year ago, and
that's interesting.
So there's different. There's approaches where coaches like, hey, I'm just going to take the 3 most boring guys, and I don't want them to say anything.
Sims makes sense.
Oh, for sure,
a veteran guy who's played. He played at Georgia Tech, started a lot of games, and he's the defined number 1. It makes
he'll promote your program the best.
Yeah. Reimer has led the team. Luke has led the team in tackles by a long way the last 2 years, and in fact, he will most likely end up as, and this startles people, he'll end up as Nebraska's 3rd all-time leading tackler if he goes at his current pace. 3rd all-time.
Barrett Root and
Jerry Murtaugh.
Yeah,
your friend Jerry.
Because Levante only played 2 years.
Right. So, yeah, Luke Reimer makes a ton of sense. I thought he was their best player. I thought he was their best defensive player last year. Not only did he lead the team in tackles, I just thought he was their best player sideline to sideline.
Can you imagine if Levante David played her 4 years?
Oh, he would. Yeah,
he would have had 500 tackles.
Yeah, he would have had a lot. And then now the one that people that raised their eyebrows was Ethan Piper.
That's a surprise. Yeah, I just think because there's a lot of linemen that played more than him, but it makes you wonder, like, where's Corcoran at in the discussion? I get why Prohaska didn't come. If Prohaska would have played a full year healthy and looked good last year, he might have been the choice. But hey, Piper's an older 5th-year player in the program.
He looked good run blocking toward the end of last year. I thought he was a pretty good run blocker toward the end of last year. And what I really appreciated about him, and this goes forgotten by most people, and I don't even remember, it was late in the season. And, the offensive line obviously endured heavy criticism from the media, from fans, from everybody. But Piper came up to that press luncheon and took questions.
Took the bullets.
And he handled it really well. And he did it out of a sense of obligation. And I always thought that always was striking to me. Turner Corcoran did a lot of that too, but Piper did it late last season I think there were some weeks where there wasn't representation. And I was kind of surprised when he walked in the room because it wasn't going to be all that pleasant, but he handled it exceptionally well.
So the other thing too, Tony Petiti will speak day 1 for 30 minutes in the opening
at
address.
Big Ten Media Days.
Wednesday at 10:30, which is 9:30 Central Time. Tony Petiti will take the stage to open things up. Remember last year when Frost went before?
Yeah,
it was because Nebraska had to open up camp to get ready for Ireland. Nebraska did their media days before it even started.
No opening statement. That was the big controversy.
Oh God,
remember that? No opening statement.
He was just in kind of one of those funks where, no matter what he did, it was going to come off wrong. Because if
we don't have to renew that debate, but
No.
I was on the side of it didn't really
No.
bother me. It didn't bother me.
If he was too positive, people say, "Why are you so positive?" If you were negative, I mean, it was just in a bad place.
It was very Nebraska-ish that it became a hot debate. I'm just like, okay, really? He didn't make an opening statement. Does it matter that much? There was a part of me that kind of appreciated.
You better believe his boss.
No, the boss didn't like it.
Yeah, the boss did not.
The boss wanted an open statement.
Right.
Yeah. And not all bosses would care, but this boss doesn't. That's
now,
fine.
Matt Rule,
he'll have an open statement.
you're going to think we're at like some mega church in Dallas. Like he'll come off the stage with
it'll be impressive.
It will be like, Coach Rule will be, it will be the best opening statement we've seen from a Nebraska coach without a doubt.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the best opening statement of the 2-day session. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, like Harbaugh is brutal. Harbaugh also does not give opening statements.
He doesn't?
No, he just is, he might say one sentence.
See, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, I don't know that it's a poor reflection on anything. It just is what it is. I mean, nobody cares that Harbaugh doesn't make a grand statement because he's winning a lot of games.
Or Saban.
Right. Now, I don't know what Saban does, but it just, I know, I mean, I might take some fire for that. I'm not really defending Frost. I'm just saying any coach, it doesn't bother me. Let's just go to questions. It's sort of appealing to me. Let's just go to questions, guys.
And media days is different now. Like you get that 15-minute made for TV portion.
Yeah.
And then there's another portion where you get like 45 minutes.
That's the other thing that I don't think people understand. Frost knew that he was going to.
No, he had already completed his 45-minute.
Okay. See, and that even absolves him a little more, in my opinion. He had already done his big session with the media. So maybe, what are we doing here, Sean? We're debating this. He probably thought, why do I need to make an opening statement? I just talked to these people for 45 minutes. So that's where I come down.
Yeah, and you get 45 minutes with the head coach.
Anyway,
at the media days, I always, in that upfront part now too, it's kind of turned into a show where like you get like student reporters, not as main
upfront,
not as mainstream. Where like somebody like, Coach, what is your favorite color? Like I mean,
and you get some grandstanding too. Right?
Yeah, and you get people that just want to like make the thing about them when they ask.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean.
And they come out with this long, this is so and so from the Wall Street Journal, and I've got like this long 25-minute question, and I want you to agree with me.
Right.
I mean,
so what we're talking about is July 26th and July 27th. We're going to Indy. Thank God we're not going to Chicago. Sorry, but I don't even know if I'd go to Chicago, Sean. I might just.
That might be one of the reasons why it's not in Chicago anymore.
There'd be people that would be hesitant to go, but anyway, it's in Indy, and we'll be there, and there'll be a lot to talk about.